TRF, led by him, is a team that wants to eradicate all Transformers. It doesn't matter if you're an Autobot, doesn't matter if you're Decepticon. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex here, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 101, and I want to first start off by saying happy birthday to Malachi and Bram. Happy birthday to both of y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. So in the previous episode, I talked a lot about plot details, but it was mostly revolving around the robots, the Transformers, the Cybertronians, Autobots, and Decepticons. And then I also mentioned that in the next episode, that would be this one, episode number 101, we'd talk more about everybody's favorite aspect about the Transformers live-action films, and that would be the humans. The human factor. I know everybody loves talking about the humans. Well, actually, when you really think about, if it weren't for the humans, there wouldn't be any story. The humans are actually what drive the story moving forward. They are the foundation for the story of the Transformers live-action film. I mean, you can't actually have a Transformers live-action film take place on Earth without humans. It's true. If they were going to have a full-on Transformers film without humans, it would only take place on Cybertron, because there are no humans there. And that's actually happening. There is a Cybertron prequel film, complete with nothing but Transformers characters. That's actually happening. It's tentatively titled Transformers 1. But we're going to talk more about that in the next upcoming episodes. Now, we're going to talk about the humans and how it relates to the story. But don't worry, everything that we're going to talk about in this episode is actually going to be completely relevant to what's coming in Transformers Last Night. After all, like I said before, the human characters are actually the foundation for a very interesting story, and this story is going to be a pretty interesting and unique one when compared to all the previous ones. Heck, what do I know? I'm just going by hope, okay? Hope that this is actually going to be much better than the previous sequels. But anyways, let's talk about human characters. We're going to start off with Cade. Now, I did mention that TFW2005.com did put together a really great summary of all the little things that they talked about in the set reports. So one of the things that they said is that Cade is on the run and is hiding the Autobots from TRF in the junkyard in South Dakota. So let's elaborate on that. From a quote from Mark Wahlberg himself, Cade is like a man on the run, which is fun. It's a bit of an adventure story. Now, there's also talk about what happened to Tessa, her daughter, from Transformers Age of Extinction, played by Nikolai Peltz. You'll find out in the movie. They wanted to make sense that I was older, a little slower, but yeah, you meet up with Cade now and he's living elsewhere and he's basically had to go on his own on the run, which is one of the reasons why, to protect his daughter and make sure that she is no longer hunted in the way that Cade is. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, really, you only have to devote maybe 10 seconds of dialogue to explain what happened to her and Shane. So he's obviously very protective of his daughter, as he displayed in Transformers Age of Extinction. He's going to have her go into hiding. And so therefore, TRF is only going to go after him. It makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, next character we're going to talk about that is a human character, is Santiago Cabrera's character. TRF is led by Santos. That's his character's name. And with regards to his character, he says, I would say at least a few years have passed and Transformers are everywhere. And it's just mayhem now. So a special task force was created. A kind of a worldwide team where I'm a specific team leader that's kind of in charge. I've got drones and I go out to the junkyard where we believe Cade Yeager is hiding some robots. So in a way, they're kind of like, what did they call those guys? A Cemetery Wind? But Cemetery Wind was hunting Autobots. And, well, they're kind of doing the same thing here, because now they're going after Cade Yeager once again because they know that Cade Yeager is hiding Autobots. Now, let's go into a little more history of his character. I was a SEAL, but I've retired, and I'm on a contract. I've been hired. The TRF has formed to fight the Transformers, so my orders are to not care if they're Autobots or Decepticons. We gotta stop this war. I've come with my team to fight Transformers, and when I see Cade Yeager is harboring them, he becomes my enemy. It's orders. Cabrera's sort of an antagonist at the beginning because of his orders. I have a scrap with Bumblebee. I do alright though. I do alright. But in that respect, in the beginning, I'm gonna be the guy you love to hate, which is a cool part to play. So as he mentions, TRF, led by him, is a team that wants to eradicate all Transformers. It doesn't matter if you're an Autobot, doesn't matter if you're Decepticon, every Cybertronian's got to get out of there, and they are going to exterminate you. And Cade Yeager is now his enemy. And he also mentions that he plays the guy that you love to hate. And I have a feeling I'm going to like his character as a villain, mainly because I find that the best villains in films in general are the ones that you love to hate. You just hate them so much. So he's going to play a pretty evil character. I'm pretty sure of that. Now let's talk about Josh Duhamel's character. Nest is not in this. There's a different group. Nest was a group where we worked with the Autobots. But this group, there's a worldwide coalition to eradicate all of the Transformers. They're all bad. And a few of us know better. But that's it. A few of us knowing better, that would be Captain Lennox, Sergeant Epps, Cade Yeager. They know. They know that the Autobots are the good guys. Now, why is Captain Lennox working with TRF? I'm not sure how he got convinced. After all, he did make friends with the Autobots, but I don't know how that's going to work out. Now, with regards to why he was missing from Age of Extinction, here's what he had to say. The last one, to sort of justify it to myself, there was no military element. Therefore, they didn't need me. I think it was probably they just didn't want me. But this time, there's definitely a military element here, and what brings me back is there's a question as to who I'm working for. Am I with the US military, the Army, or am I working with a group that's trying to eradicate all Transformers? Not just Decepticons, but all of them. There's a bit of a struggle between myself and Santiago Cabrera, and then we're also working against Mark Wahlberg's character in this, because he's definitely working with the Autobots. So this is going to be pretty interesting. We're going to see a bit of a power struggle between Santos and Lennox, because Lennox is working with a team that's going to eradicate his friends that he used to work with. And by friends, I mean the Autobots. So he knows better. He knows that this is wrong. And then he's going to meet Cade Yeager, and then they're going to, I believe they're going to work together. Based on the trailer, it looks like they're going to end up being friends, all right? And they're going to have to take out another human villain, that being Santos. Now let's talk about Laura Haddock's character. Laura Haddock plays Vivian Wembley, and her family is tied with the MacGuffin of the movie. To elaborate, she says, "From my point of view, I am picked up from my family home and taken to Cade Yeager. Cade and Vivian have good banter. They don't understand each other at all in the beginning, mainly because he's an American and she's English, and mainly don't get each other. But then they end up going on this massive journey together, needing each other, and they see a different side to each other." Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be playing like love interest or anything like that, but I have a feeling that it's got a very predictable human element about it. And that is something we've seen before in other movies, and that is two characters come together and they have conflicts with each other. They don't understand each other in terms of what it is, what direction they're going in, and what their I guess goal is. And then in the end, they end up working together, and then they find a common ground. And that's something we've seen in movies, and we're going to see it again in this film. So that's what her character is all about. After all, we already know what Cade Yeager's character is all about. Now we're introducing this new character, this female character, Vivian Wembley, and she knows some stuff. And she knows stuff that Cade wants to know as well. And Cade needs to get that information out of her, but she's probably reluctant. And once she finds out that he knows some stuff too, they're going to work together. And now let's talk about Isabella. Isabella lost her family in Chicago and is with Squeaks since then. All right, to elaborate, she says, "My character Isabella, a coincidence we have the same name spelled a little differently. She's a tomboy, she's spunky, she's homeless, and she joins Mark and the team in defeating the Decepticons. She was actually involved in the Battle of Chicago. Her family From that stems dark memories and the reason why she's been living there, and then she joins Mark. She also has her own little sidekick named Squeaks, who is a mini Transformer Vespa, super cute. He says Chihuahua, and that's the only thing he says. He's like my lifelong friend ever since the Battle of Chicago. He got a little messed up, so he can't transform fully. He's getting there. Isabella is trying to fix him. My character is also a welder. She fixes things. She's known for fixing things, and she knows a lot about Transformers because she lived with them after she lost her family in Chicago. So she has a tragic past. The Battle of Chicago from Transformers Dark of the Moon is something of a dark past for her character, and the only friend that she has is a Transformer named Squeaks. And I'm just thinking, where did he come from? Like, all this time, where did he come from? Is he one of those Transformer characters that were just hiding around and then he just happened to show up? After all, there were a lot of these types of characters. They just happen to show up. In all the sequels, Cybertronians, Autobots, and Decepticons, they just happen to show up, and he's probably one of them. Now, it mentions that he can't transform, so he got messed up during the Battle of Chicago, and during this whole time, Isabella is trying to fix him just as Bumblebee is trying to get his voice box fixed. So this is going to be very interesting for his character because he can't really talk, kind of like Bumblebee can't talk, and he's going to be a sidekick to Isabella, just like how Bumblebee was a sidekick to Sam. So they're taking kind of that same formula and applying it to here, and I'm looking forward to it. But I just hope that we're not going to have a repeat or like another version of Bumblebee, because we already have that. We don't need another version of him. But I hope his character is likable. But anyways, there's a little bit more information about Squeaks, and that was mentioned by Lorenzo de Bonaventura, and he says, Squeaks is an Autobot Vespa that can't figure out how to transform at the beginning of the movie. He has a physical limitation that he can't figure out how to get around, and during the process we have some real fun with sort of malaprop attempts to form. A pretty seemingly inconsequential Autobot is going to rise to a really great effing moment where it does this. It's incredibly great from a story plot point of view. You'll laugh so hard because it's such a great way for him to finally show his mettle. So it's one of those sort of chair laughs when he does it. That's what I think is going to happen. He's sort of a sidekick to Izzy, or our young girl who has been really fantastic in the movie, and she's kind of keeping him going. She's his mechanic, if you will, and so there's a real great relationship between him and the young girl in the movie. You're going to fall in love with him, and then he's going to rise to heights you didn't expect. This is absolutely everything I expected about Squeaks' character. When they first introduced Squeaks as a character, I was thinking, okay, this is a character that, you know, he's kind of questionable at first. He looks silly, but then in the end, he's going to find a way to redeem himself. And this is everything that Lorenzo de Bonaventura is actually mentioning. He cannot transform. He's going to find a way to transform near the third act of the film, and he's going to save the day. I just have a feeling that he's going to be a key savior in a very, like a big moment, in a moment where it's full of conflict, and he's going to provide that heroic moment for perhaps Isabella's character. Maybe she's going to save the day. He's going to save the day somehow, but that's the feeling I get from his character. So that is about it. Oh yeah, and the last thing I want to mention is that the most mysterious character, and the most interesting character of them all, is Anthony Hopkins, who plays Sir Edmund Burton. I don't know anything about his character. He's not playing Winston Churchill. He's not playing King Arthur. He's playing Sir Edmund Burton, and that's all we know about his character. Obviously, there's some connection between Sir Edmund Burton and Vivian Wembley, but other than that, the only thing I do know is that he does know a lot about the Transformers and why they're here and their history. That's all I know about his character, and that in a way is kind of like a hunch, but mainly because of what we gather from the set photos and also in the trailer. In the trailer, you already get that kind of idea that he knows something. He knows a lot about the history of the Cybertronians. Maybe it's been passed on for many, many generations since medieval times. And so that's why he knows something, and he continues to know something, and he knows some secrets about them. Perhaps in how to defeat them. But anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. And to end this episode, I want to give a big shout out to Cliff, Tyler, and Jordan. I was actually doing a return at Best Buy, and then I hear my name called Alex. and runs up to me. Cliff runs up to me and says, "Hey, man, I watched your videos, and then actually we met you back in 2014. That was when Transformers Age of Extinction came out, and I totally remember you guys, Cliff, Jordan, and Tyler. We were watching Transformers Age of Extinction. You called my name, the Ragin Nation, and then we took a photo together. And thanks for your support. Thanks for watching my videos, and thanks for coming up to me and saying hi. I totally remember you guys, and you guys are awesome, all right? And last thing I want to mention is that there is a contest going on. It is the Transformers meme contest, and thank you to everybody that created a meme. The entry submissions are now over, and now I've posted every single entry onto the Ragin Nation Facebook page for you to click like. Get as many likes as you can, and then you will win this prize right here. This is a TS07 Solar Blast from Impossible Toys, and this is essentially a Cybertronian version of Sunstorm from a third-party company. And you will get this as long as you have the meme, or you created a meme with the most likes by midnight on December 31st, on New Year's Eve, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, December 31st. I will calculate all the likes that you end up getting, and you will win the prize. Now, of course, to win this, you gotta be a part of the contest. The submissions are over, and I know there are a couple of people who submitted memes to me, but unfortunately, your meme didn't qualify for various reasons. Perhaps you sent me too many because you're only supposed to send one, or it wasn't even a meme to begin with, or some other reason, but it didn't qualify. I'm sorry about that, but it didn't qualify. But as for everybody else, do whatever you can to get as many likes as you can. Share the Ragin Nation Facebook page. Share the Facebook album. Share your meme and get people to click like on it. And there you have it. And that's all you got to do. And anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. What do you guys think about what we've talked about? We've talked about the human characters. And these human characters sound very, very interesting to me, especially Santos. I'm really curious about Sir Edmund Burton. And I'm really curious as to what Vivian Wembley is going to contribute to the story. But I'm also really curious about Isabella and the relationship between her and Squeaks, and how Squeaks is going to save the day. That's all I gotta say to you in this episode, and there's more to come. Stay tuned for episode number 102. It's gonna come out in a couple of days, and we are gonna talk about more stuff with regards to Transformers Last Night. Thank you for all your support, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Triple changer, but he's a very unique type of triple changer. Typically, when you think of triple changers, you think of three modes: robot mode, vehicle mode,